Okay, nampak Alright. So this is we discuss on the engineering ethic. So we have the ethic and also engineering ethic. Alright. Okay. And then why we need to study engineering ethic? Because you need to increase awareness, okay, of importance due to publicity surrounding high profile engineering failure. Okay. And then your decision will impact public health, public safety, and also public businesses. Okay, and engineers should be aware of moral implication. Okay, and study of ethic help engineer develop a moral autonomy. Okay, so ability to think critically and independently about moral issues, and ability to apply this moral thinking to situations that arise in the course of professional engineering practice. Okay, so lastly, ethical problems in engineering are often complex and involve conflicting ethical principles. Okay, so this is the common reason why engineering need to study ethics, because of these issues. Because what you do, what you work, you will involve the public. Okay. Okay. So that's why from ethic, so they have gathered all of the most useful ethic. Okay. They compile into the engineering code of ethic. Okay. So basically, what is the code of ethic? It express right, duties, and obligation of member of the profession. Okay. Basically, this does not imply to other ethical principle, but it create environment within the profession where ethical behavior is the norm. So you need to build the culture, the good code of ethic. So objection to existing engineering code of ethic: relatively few engineers are members of engineering society, but non-members don't necessarily follow the ethical codes. That's why you need to register. After this, after graduation, you need to register. Because of this, you need to know the engineering ethic. Okay. Alright, so that is the importance of ethic. Okay, so we go first, what is the ethical theory? Okay, so ethical is come from moral. Moral means the good moral lah. Okay, kalau kita dalam kita punya agama, kita ada moral. So dekat agama kita ada mana yang baik, mana yang buruk. Okay, so yang buruk tu kita panggil sebagai haram, yang baik tu kita panggil sebagai sunat ataupun wajib. Okay, kalau yang grey sikit kita panggil sebagai makruh. Semua tu adalah moral. Okay, so bagi umat Islam should be no problem lah. Okay, so apa itu etik? Etik benda tu lah. Apa kalau haram dengan halal, itu kita panggil lebih kepada regulation ataupun undang-undang. Yang duduk dekat makruh dan duduk dekat sunat ni adalah etik. Itu kalau kamu nak tahu apa dia beza. Alright, so that is the difference between ethic and moral. Okay, so we have three basic definition of ethic. First, we call it as a virtue ethic. Okay, so this is the first ethic theory of ethics. Okay, emphasized by the Confucius. Tak silap saya Confucius. Okay, so this Confucius bring this idea of virtue ethic. Okay, so basically it's an approach of ethic that emphasize an individual character as the key element rather than rules about act themselves. Okay, so this is emphasized on what is your rights and what you can do and what you cannot do. you cannot effect to others. Okay, this we call it as a virtue ethic. Okay, other than this, this display of trustworthiness, respectful, and also taking responsibility. So this is come from the Confucius lah. Okay. Okay. So also addition to the static from Confucius, and then it's come from the Aristotle. Okay. This is the theory. Okay. Assume ethical behavior follow from characteristic traits of the people acquire. Okay. So it shows the concept of internal and external goods. Okay. Whereby the component of internal and external goods will be your self-direction, public spirit, teamwork, and also the proficiency. Okay. So that is the virtue ethic. Okay. So what is the limitation? Okay. But it interests in what kind of people we should be. Okay. So as per individuals, what you need to be. Okay. Individual, to be a good personal character. Alright. And then we have the duty ethics. Okay. Duty ethics is the come from also the virtue. It's much more fundamentals. Okay. But it says on the action, okay, that can be written down as a list of duties, including your to be good, to be honest, and so on and so forth. Okay. It express respect for individuals. Okay. Okay. But there are some of the grey area. Kat situ ada grey area. What is the grey area? You have the you need to decide either is a good or is a bad. For example, this is the example. If we promise to pay ransom to hostage, okay, it is a right to deceive the kidnapper to benefit the hostage. Okay, because you promise. Okay, if you don't promise, okay, if you break the promise, so you don't have the good ethic, but you are paying the hostage, pay ransom, so it's not good. But what is the ethic behind that? So this is the limitation of duty ethics, because in duty ethics you respect the individual, which means that you need to maintain your promise. Okay. The example lah. Okay. So basically the duties we follow are what rational people would agree in a hypothetical contracting situation. Okay. Basically we call rational person is a no self-interest, okay, knowledge about human psychology, and also promote long-term interest. Okay. So that is the rational. Alright. For duty ethics. Okay. So it based on two principles. Each person is entitled to the most extensive amount of liberty and freedom without restricting others, and some may benefit more socially and economically than others. Okay, so this is the example lah. Alright, so in this ethic, okay, if you want to more clear, okay, yang macam contoh yang paling terbaru ni, kalau kamu tengok, ada daripada pelancong turis perempuan yang tak nak pakai pelitup muka. Kamu ada tengok dekat social media yang tak nak pakai pelitup media tu. So itu dia kata itu hak saya tak nak pakai. Ini adalah hak saya tak nak pakai. Jadi kamu tak boleh argue dengan hak saya. Saya ada hak untuk tak pakai. Sekarang semua duk cerita macam benda tu. Itu hak saya, itu hak saya. Tapi kamu lupa, kamu individu. Hak kamu, ya betul itu hak kamu. Tapi kamu jangan berinteraksi dengan individu lain. Sebab individu lain pun ada hak juga. Sama juga macam kalau kamu cerita pasal yang tak nak vaksin. Itu hak saya tak nak terima vaksin. Betul, itu hak kamu. Tak ada siapa marah pun. tapi hak orang lain untuk tidak dijangkiti. Okey, sama-sama. Jadi jangan merisikokan orang lain. Kalau kamu tak nak, jangan kacau anak kamu ke apa. Kalau anak kamu nak pergi, jangan mempengaruhi. Itu adalah hak. Kalau hak kamu kena hormat dengan hak orang lain. That is the example. Okay. Alright. So kita dah pergi pada duty ethics, kita pergi pada right ethics. Okay. Right ethics is the right to live, okay, liberty and property. Okay. It's come from the duty ethics. So they have made They have modified into the right ethics. So moral rights mean capacity to show concern for others. Okay. So you need to have a social welfare. You need to bring society to the good condition. Okay. So that is the right ethics. It based on the community level. Okay, what you can do to the society. So that is the right ethics. But the conflict is what good for one group may not best for another. Okay, for example, a person that based on a dam has the right to have his or her property preserved, but people surrounding community have the right to electricity and flooding control. So that is the conflict of interest. It's not conflict, it's the grey area. Okay. So that is the condition you need to have regarding the right ethics. Okay. So in the right ethics by Immanuel Kant, okay, he believed that good is a absolute and can be identified. So the only thing that good for its own sake is goodwill, which means that your intention for goods. Okay, for your intention are pure, they are intrinsically good. Good is a duty which is consistent with higher moral principle, visual and rational. So that is by Immanuel Kant. Okay, this is a philosophy from the Western. Okay, but for us, we as a Muslim, alright. So we refer to Al-Quran and Hadith. So currently we can define what is the harus, makruh, haram, sunat. That is the most important things lah. Okay, but for them they have their own ethic. Okay, so that is a right ethics. Okay, we go for utilitarianism. Okay, so basically what is a utilitarianism? Is a maximizing the goodness. Okay, so we have the act and rules. Okay, we have two types of utilitarianism. It's the act and rules. Alright, so what is the act? Focus on individual action. Okay, but for rules, okay, it compile most of the rules. Okay, adhering more to moral rules will ultimately leads to the most goods. Okay, so this is more for individuals. This is more towards the completing all the rules involved, the ethic involved inside the ethic. Okay, so there is a difference between act and rules. Okay, and then more tendency to follow rules. Okay, as act require constant interpretation. Okay, rules ni what is the best ethic, okay, provided by the good deeds. Okay, so they have compiled all the good ethics into the rules. Okay, but for act is much more on the individuals. Okay, so basically the rules utilitarianism is a basis for many of our current law nowadays. Kat Malaysia pun kita pakai yang ni, tapi dia dah pindah-pindah lah, dah banyak lah, bukan yang pure lah. Okay, but the basis is come from this. Alright, so this is the tadi. Okay, Alright. So we have discussed the basic principle of ethics. Okay. So we go for this is a rules. This is a rules. We talk about corruption is a rules, but ethic in how negotiating to prevent corruption is the ethical issues. Okay, so this is the example. Okay, for corruption. Okay, 900,000 dekat dalam ni. Ni dekat Sabah. Okay, so saya rasa semua tahu kes ni kan. Dekat dalam laci penuh dengan duit. Okay, ini rasuah yang ini paling terbaru, the latest one. Okay, so this exco has been called by the court, okay, to defend himself, for the second call. Okay, the first trial, they have been released by the court, but the second call, okay, just I think a few days ago, saya rasa saya baca berita dah kena ni kat Johor ni banyak okay, so this is the example sama. Okay, example you can see from the YouTube and also SPRM. Okay, so what is the corruption? By definition is the giving or obtaining advantage through means which are illegitimate, immoral, and inconsistent with one duty or the right of others. Okay, or also it involves misuse of entrusted power for personal gain. Okay, whatever you do, whatever you have, if you have some power, you misuse the power given to you. Okay, so that we call it as a corruption. Okay, penyalahgunaan kuasa, kalau bahasa kita. Okay, ini corruption, bukan bribery. Alright, so this is the corruption. Okay, we call it as a dishonest behavior. Okay, or misuse power. Okay, so this is a cause of correction. You have the example start from absolute authority and up to authority and power in the wrong hand. Okay, sekarang ni kita pun dalam politik kita sekarang pun ada macam-macam kes benda ni. Okay, yang tu saya tak mau sentuh lah, but you should know how to differentiate between the grey area, the white area, and also the black area. Benda yang kita tak ni better kita tinggalkan. Okay, alright, so the cure for corruption. Alright, so basically this is loyalty and patriotism. Okay, but as we are for Muslim, kita ada hari akhirat. Kita kena ingat, kita duduk di dunia ni hanya sementara. Akhirat jura yang kekal selama-lamanya. That is the most curable for corruption lah. For example lah. Okay. Right, so this is the example. Banyak ni kamu boleh tengok. Okay. So this is the bribery. So what is the difference between corruption and bribery? Corruption is you have the power but you use for personal interest. That is corruption. Okay, bribery is that you give someone, okay, money and so on, a gift and so on and so forth for something illegal or dishonest for you. Okay, that is a bribery, rasuah. Okay, so bribery and corruption is two different things, bukan sama, lain. Alright, so you giving someone or something, alright, to the someone for your illegal, for something illegal and dishonest. So that is definition of bribery. Okay, Alright. Okay, this is the related video for bribery. Okay. Example ni kamu boleh tengok lah Okay. Ni kamu boleh tengok dia punya ni definition of bribery. Okay. So ethical reason for not tolerating the bribery. So bribery corrupts our free market economic system and it anti-competitive. Okay. So basically it treats people as commodities. Okay, which means that you can buy, you can sell the people. That is bribery. So basically it will separate. Okay, the rich will go much richer. Okay, the poorer will go very very poor. So that is the effect of bribery. Okay. So when is a gift is a bribe? Okay. So gift is a nominal value with a vendor logo or phone or it. Okay. But generally there is no problem with accepting these items. But recently in Malaysia government, a government servant cannot accept any types of gift because it considered as a bribe. So basically you cannot lah. Okay. Ni paling baru punya Alright. Okay. Conflict of interest. So this is example of conflict of interest. Okay. So what is a conflict of interest? Alright. So basically this is the example of conflict of interest. Okay. So basically what is this is the example. Conflict of interest mean that you have the interest, you have the interest in the specific parties. Okay, so that specific parties have advantage come from you. Okay, kamu ada specific advantage dekat, kamu ada advantage tapi kamu bagi kepada spesifik yang kamu ada interest. Itu kita panggil conflict of interest. Contohnya macam saya, abang saya kerja sebagai kontraktor. Saya kerja dengan JKR. Jadi saya bagi kat abang saya untuk buat projek. Itu kita panggil sebagai conflict of interest. So that is example. Okay. Ada banyak dalam ni, kamu boleh baca. Okay. So whistleblowing. So what is a whistleblowing? Ini contoh-contoh whistleblowing. Alright. So whistleblowing is the employee, pekerja, tells on employer who is breaking the law. Okay. Macam contoh, macam kita punya case 1MDB, tapi dia bukan pun sama juga lah. 1MDB pun datang daripada orang dalam. Orang dalam yang buat whistleblowing daripada staff 1MDB itu juga. Okay. Ada whistleblowing mengatakan there's some corruption inside the 1MDB. So that is what we call it as a whistleblowing. Mana apa pekerja dalam tu, dia beritahu di luar something happen inside the company. So that we call it as a whistleblowing. Okay. Alright. So this is example. Okay. So types of whistleblower. So we have the internal and personal. Okay. Internal is someone from the inside of the organisation. Okay. Personal is, let's say for example, macam contoh Martha Brown tu kan, yang buat Sarawak report tu, that is personal whistleblowing. Okay. And then we have the impersonal whistleblowing. Okay. So this is the rare because it involve the society. Okay. Because what he do, it involve the corruption inside the society as a whole. So that we call it as a impersonal whistleblowing. Okay. So this is the example of whistleblowing. Okay. So ethic in research and experiment. Okay. So basically when you do research and experiment, okay, you need to put a pure result. What you do, sekarang kamu buat FYP So what you do, what you have get the result, so that is your result. You cannot alter the result. So that we have the ethic. Kat situ. Okay, contoh okay, plagiat. Saya rasa ini plagiat saya skip. Saya rasa semua dah tahu. Semua dah faham bab-bab plagiat ni. Ada yang tak tahu ke bab plagiat ni? Nak saya explain? Semua okay Okay, analysis and solution in ethical issues. Okay. Alright. So we have three categories. We have factual, conceptual, and also moral. Okay. So this is how we analyze the issues in ethical problem. Okay. Fact. So you must know what is the case. Okay. So basically it is based on the fact you have known. Okay. So the issues on that we call it as a factual issues. Okay. Conceptual means of applicability of an idea. Okay. So for example, defining what constitute a bribe as opposed to an acceptable gift. So that is a concept of issue, concept ethic issues. Okay. Maknanya kalau kita tak bagi duit tapi kita bagi hadiah, itu kita panggil sebagai conceptual issues. And then we have the moral issues. Okay. Finally, moral issue is which moral principle are pertinent and how they should be applied. Okay. So basically all the moral, what is the effect? Okay. You have the factual issues, you have the sebelum ni kita ada conceptual issues, and kita ada moral issues. Moral issue is that what is the good and bad for individuals. Okay, so the principle of pertinence. So that is the moral issue. So what is the good moral issue? You put in your in the ethic. Okay. Alright. So problem solving techniques. Okay. So in order you have the issues regarding ethic, so you need to identify. Okay. Firstly, identify, analysis, and action. So when you do an identification, so you need to know acknowledge the state of conflict. What is the conflict? Or we call it either it conflict. What is the source? Identify the source of conflict and the stakeholder. Okay, and how to analyze? You need to investigate lah. You must find the fact. Either it's a good or wrong. You must investigate what is good, what is wrong, and then action. Lastly, will be your action. Decide and initiate a course of action. What you can do. So this is the common. This is a common problem solving. Okay, either this technique, you can use any other techniques, whatever you feel is much more easier for you lah. Okay, so this is the example. Okay, so saya tak nak pergi ni, saya pergi dekat line drawing. Nanti saya pergi. Okay, this is the line drawing. So what is the line drawing? Line drawing is that you segregate the positive and negative. Okay, so yang negative is the unacceptable, the positive is the acceptable. So in the middle is your zero lah. So you can classify either you accept, what is the rating of accept, and what is the rating of unacceptable. Okay, you can classify based on your ethical issues lah. So from that side, so you know that either it's being on the positive way or in the negative way. So this is the most common techniques lah when deciding the ethic problem. We use a line drawing. Okay, this is the most popular technique lah. Ini negatif and positif. Okay. Dia ada banyak cara. Okay. Ini flowchart. Apa boleh? You can also use flowchart, but yang ni saya rasa kamu semua tahulah cara nak buat. Ini saya skip. Okay. Continue flowchart. Okay, flowchart. Okay. Okay. This is the example of policy misconduct. Kamu boleh tube kat sini. YouTube ada dalam ni. Okay. Okay. This is the how they do suspend, investigate, hearing and appeal hearing. Okay. Contoh this is the step for handling misconduct. Okay. Ni saya skip sebab ni ada dalam video ni. Dalam video ni benda ni sama dalam ni. Okay. Alright. Ni dia punya ni juga sama. Okay. Example ni sampai ke habis bawah. Last sekali sampai dekat proses for the entire policy misconduct. Okay. Alright. Setakat ni ada apa-apa soalan? Kita dah habis slide ni. Semua okey? Semua okey? Okey
Okey.
Alhamdulillah. Ada apa-apa soalan berkaitan dengan etik ni dulu? Okey Saya stop record.